What's up, guys? It's the random dude, Josh. Yes, I know it has been a long time since I've made a video here on the Clever Magic community, but there's a reason. I mean, aside from everything else I got going on. But today, I have a new deck tech for a format that I have come to absolutely love. And here's the best part, it's affordable. Very, very affordable. Now, you may be asking, what format is that? Well, it is Pauper. And if you've never heard about Pauper, well, you are in for a treat. So just a little bit of, excuse me, a little bit of background. So Pauper was originally created as part of MTGO, or Magic the Gathering Online. And the concept is it's a 60 card constructed format. However, you only use commons. Now, the cool thing is there's a lot of cards that have that are now printed at different rarities, but the ruling is as long as it's had a common printing at any point of its history, then you're able to use it. There are a few banned cards in the format. Cards like Chatterstorm, Grape Shot, a lot of those like Stormy type cards, Gitaxian Probe, which kind of makes me sad because I left that card and it's from a great set. But other stuff like that, that's all on Wizards' website. And I can include a link to the description below. But the fact that you're playing with just commons provides not only a unique challenge bowl in the deck building, but as I said, it's also super affordable, and it really is just wholesome magic. I played the other night, and it was so much fun. And so I'm like, you know what? I want to get more excitement around the format and more people playing the format. And so here I am. So the deck that I'm going to be sharing with you guys is one of my favorites. And no, I know what you're thinking, and I know what Dave and Trevor are thinking. It is not infect. There's no infect in this deck. I know, shocker. The world is just shocked. But let's jump in. So this is mono black control, and I will include a link to the deck list in the description below. So with this deck, the goal of the deck is to really obviously not only control the board, but control it in such a way that it allows you to build up your board state and then just be able to go in for the win. So I'm going to start here. So we're running 4 copies of Chittering Rats, and Chittering Rats for 1 black for a 2/2 rat. When Chittering Rats comes into play, not when it's cast, but when it comes into play, target opponent puts a card from his or her hand on top of his or her library. This is such a powerful common card because of the fact that you're essentially controlling your opponent's next draw step. You're preventing them from drawing new cards because all they're going to be able to do is draw whatever they put back on top. Next up, we got Quambage Witches. I love this card. So much fun. So Quambage Witches for black for 1/3. It's actually the errated text actually has them as a wizard, which is important in other formats. Not necessarily important here. But their ability is you tap Quambage Witches, deals 1 damage to target creature or player, and then Quambage Witches also deals 1 damage to target creature or player of target opponent's choice. So you choose your target. So typically what you do is you tap the witches, ping one of their creatures, and then your target opponent will choose and either choose to ping one of your creatures or ping your face. So not a bad card for a 1/3. And then of course we've got Gary. You can't forget about Gary, Gray, Merchant of Asphodel. For 3 black. When Gray, Merchant of Asphodel enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, where X is your devotion to black. You gain life equal to this life lost this way. So this is going to be one of your bigger win conditions because you want to be able to get a lot of your other creatures and enchantments out. And it makes it so that way when you cast Gary, not only are you draining your opponent for a lot of life, but you're also getting a lot of life. And if you notice, a lot of these creatures are going to have a higher toughness. And I'll explain why here in a moment. Phyrexian Rager for 2 and a black. When Phyrexian Rager enters the battlefield, you draw a card and lose 1 life. So just not only getting a big body on the ground, but getting additional card draw. Thorn of the Black Rose. This is a fun addition because when Thorn of the Black Rose enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. So if you've never played using the monarch mechanic, what that does is there's an emblem that comes in. And whenever you're the monarch at the beginning of your end step, if you're the monarch, you draw a card. Now, your opponent can become the monarch if they do combat damage. And that's key. You have to do combat damage to the monarch in order to then become the monarch. So what it does is not only gives you additional card draw, but it serves as a great blocker as well because of the fact that Thorn of the Black Rose has Death Touch. So just another additional way to get additional card draw. Moving on to the sorceries, we're running 2 copies of Chainer's Edict. Target player sacrifices a creature, and the nice thing is this also has flashback, so you can use this late game. Divest, target player reveals their hand. You choose an artifact or creature card, from among them, and they discard that card. Sign in Blood, just a staple in Magic. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Now, one thing to keep in mind with Sign in Blood is if you have your opponent low enough, say they are down to 1 life, you can actually cast Sign in Blood, target them. Yes, they get to draw 2 cards, but they will lose 2 life, putting them at -1, and game over. For your instance, we're running 2 copies of Cast Down, destroy target non-legendary creature. This is really helpful because of the fact that in Pauper, you're not going to have a lot of legendary creatures in the format. Again, we're playing commons. Commons. I almost said uncommons. So you're not going to have to worry about that non-legendary creature aspect of, will this resolve? So very, very helpful. 3 copies of Defile. This is really helpful. We are playing mono black, so we are running a lot of swamps. So pay 1 for an instant. Target creature gets -1/-1 till end of turn for every swamp you control. This is really helpful against creatures with Indestructible. And it's also helpful for creatures with Totem Armor. So I was playing in a game where a creature had a whole bunch of Totem Armor, and this is a great workaround around that. Suffocating Fumes, creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 till end of turn, but it also has cycling. So if it ends up becoming one of those dead cards, or your opponents have creatures that are higher than, or have a toughness higher than 1, this allows you to get a card out of it. We're running 2 copies of Bonder's Ornament. This is helpful not only for additional mana, but in that late game, you can tap this, and be able to draw a card. Enchantments, we're running Font of Return. 3 and a black. You can sacrifice it, return up to 3 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. So this is really helpful against Gary, or not against Gary, with Gary. You can be able to bring him back, or if you need additional card draw, get Thorn of the Black Rose, or Chittering Rats. You have a lot of options. Obulet, yeah, that's how it's pronounced. When the centers the battlefield, target creature faces out until Obulet leaves the battlefield. This is very, very helpful, especially if you're playing against a lot of either Spellslinger decks, elves. I've also seen a mono white enchantment deck that allows you to just put a whole bunch of enchantments on a creature. This will get rid of that problem. Just because there's not a whole lot of enchantment removal in Pauper. I know that there is like Feed the Swarm from Zendikar Rising is a good one, but off the top of my head, that's the only one I can think of. Pestilence, such a classic Magic card. So for 2 black, you cast Pestilence. You can pay a black, and it deals 1 damage to each creature in player. Keep in mind that that does include you. So you got to keep track of how much you're activating this. But it can serve as a fantastic board wipe in that sense. And then at the end of each turn, if no creatures are in play, sacrifice Pestilence. That will also help with, or that also impacts if your opponents have any creatures. So if they have a creature, Pestilence is still in place. So you can kind of tweak with it a little bit there for some more draining of life. And the fact that it has 2 black pips in it, you get a couple of those out. Obulet, and say a Phyrexian Rager or Quombage Witches. Then once you play Grey Merchant of Asphodel, you're going to be doing a lot with his ETB. Lands, we're running 2 copies of Baron Moor. This is helpful because it has cycling. Again, because of that card draw, you want to be able to get through your deck very, very quickly. Bajuka Bog, one of ETB's exile all cards from target player's graveyard. This is really helpful, especially in the format. There is a lot of decks that really play with the graveyard, so this will really hose them in that sense. Witch's Cottage. If you control 3 or more swamps, it enters untapped. If it does, you may put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. Again, just that recursion that you're looking for. And then moving on to the sideboard, we've got an additional copy of Bonder's Ornament, again for that card draw late game. Quombage Witches, another copy of Defile, Echoing Decay, target creature and all other creatures with the same name. As that creature get -2/2 till end of turn. Again, very helpful. Memory Leak. Target opponent reveals her hand. You choose a non-land card from it, and they have to. You choose a non-land card from that player's graveyard or hand, and then you exile it. This is really good against a lot of those decks that are running like Delver's Secrets, Brainstorm, that sort of thing. I've seen a lot of shenanigans happen. So this is a great form of being able to control the board there. Mogi's Favor, again, just kind of being able to not only buff up your creatures if you are swinging, but additional protection as well. And it has escape, so be able to recur that. Nihil Spellbomb, again, it allows you to do the same thing as Bajuka Bog. You're able to exile their graveyard, and if you pay a black when that happens, you can draw a card. Another copy of Obulet, another copy of Pestilence, Farika's Libation. Yeah. this has that flexibility where you can either have them sacrifice a creature or they sacrifice an enchantment. Again, very, very helpful and versatile depending on how your games go. Raven's Crime. Target player discards a card and it also has retrace. So, again, as you're seeing, there's a lot of using cards over and over again in the format. Thorn, and then 2 more copies of Thorn of the Black Rose. Now, the cool thing is, if you wanted this deck, it would only cost you a whopping $24.81. That's right. And that's including basic lands. So what a screaming deal. That's the thing that I love about Pauper, is it really is such an affordable format. So that's the deck. I hope you guys enjoy it and hope you get into Pauper. I would totally be up for sparking up games every now and then using Spell Table or untap.in. Untap.in is actually a really cool platform to be able to play Magic, and it's free. So all you have to do is just sign up and we can play. So let me know in the comments if that's something that you guys would be interested in doing. And the cool thing about Untap is it also supports other formats: Modern, Standard, Legacy, Commander, and you have access to every card. Did I mention it's free? Yeah, free. Yeah, that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys want to see more of these deck tech videos, because I've got some more Commander decks I've built. I've got some more Pauper decks. Just a whole bunch more decks that I'm totally down to share. Or if there's a Commander that you would like to see a deck built around, actually what I'll do is I will leave a poll on the Facebook group and let everyone vote. And then depending on how that goes, I'll put a deck together and share that with you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I love deck building. It is probably my favorite aspect of Magic the Gathering, aside from playing and being able to hang out with my friends. So that's going to be it for today. Again, if you love this, make sure to click that like button, that thumbs up button, leave a comment, share it with your friends. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure to do so. We do have the league going on right now, so you definitely want to make sure you're not missing that. So click that bell notification so you don't miss any of our new videos, whether it's from Dave, Trevor, myself, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.